Are you a coach or a trainer and you're struggling to get more leads? You're struggling to book enough calls? You're struggling with low quality leads? I'm going to show you or tell you about one of the most common mistakes that I see multiple times every single week that coaches are using. And the annoying thing about this is you're probably doing it and it is one of the easiest things to fix. The other most annoying thing about this is every coach that is making this mistake thinks it's actually helping them. They think they're doing a good thing by making this mistake. Don't know necessarily where that has trickled down from, if this is just something that most people are taught to do and they think it's a good idea. It's actually not. I'm going to explain to you why it's not and why it's actually such a big issue. And before we get into it, if you find this useful, if you are making this mistake and I can help you change it and help you solve it, hit subscribe on this. I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel by providing as much value as I possibly can, and I think this will help a lot of people. So I worked with, the last time I counted, about 450 fitness businesses. This is probably one of the most common, easily fixable mistakes that I see time and time again. So do you use application forms to get people to fill in a little bit of information about themselves before they book a call with you, so you can better qualify people and try to book better quality calls with people, so when people do show up, you have a higher likelihood of closing them? Well, these application forms could be massively holding back your growth, holding back the volume of leads, and also holding back your conversion rate on calls. And the thing is, you think that they're doing a good job. They think they are doing you a service by qualifying people better for you. They are if they're used correctly. So generally there's one question on these application forms that messes up the entire process for you. And that question is something along the lines of, can you invest X amount of money? Can you afford X amount per month to invest into your health? From these three options, what are you most likely to invest? $0 to $100 a month, $100 to $500 a month, $500 plus per month. Any sort of financial qualifier that you put on these forms in that style, where you actually put a figure and a number in front of people before they even book a call with you, is massively hurting the amount of calls you book and the sales conversion rate on the calls. Like I said, the thing is, people think that's helping them. People think that they are going to get a better quality of lead because they've asked somebody if you're willing to invest. And I'm not going to book calls with someone if they say they can't invest X amount of money. Personally, I don't have any data on this, but I feel like that was probably taught to trainers by people that didn't know how to sell very well. If you don't know how to sell, you don't want to take as many calls as you possibly can. You only want to take calls with people that are actually likely to close. One, it also helps your ego if you're not losing sales calls all the time. And two, it just makes it easier and you're not spending time on sales calls that don't close because you're only ending up with people that explicitly say, I'm willing to invest X amount. So I feel like that was probably taught to trainers at some point, and it's just trickled through the entire industry, and people now think you're supposed to put these financial qualifying questions on your forms that exclude people that don't want to invest. It doesn't work that way. Coming from a sales and marketing background, that is like lead gen. That is just going to kill your lead gen. Like, it's just one of the silliest things you can do in your lead gen forms is to exclude all of these people before they've even jumped on a call with you. So why is this such a problem? Well, it's a problem because you need to look at the entire sales process. You can't just look at trying to get somebody on a call that said they're willing to invest. It's not how the sales process works. Because you can't just expect someone to value your service without you even showing them what you do or showing any value in what you actually do. When you put a monetary term or a monetary figure on a qualification form for somebody to then go and book a call with you, you've completely turned supercars in Dubai. You've completely turned the sales process on its head. You've turned it upside down from the way it should be. Let's imagine, try to think of a good analogy here. Let's imagine your sales process and your coaching as like a crypto, right? As like a form of Bitcoin. Let's call it Coach Coin. But the returns Coach Coin gives is improve somebody's health, improves their lives, improves their longevity, helps them lose weight, helps them gain muscle, whatever it is. It's actual real life impact in their life. Now, to get somebody to invest in this, you need to book calls with them, and you need to jump on either a Zoom, a phone call, but however it is you're doing it, to get them over the line to invest in this thing that is going to benefit their life. And the interesting part is the potential upside, or the amount this coin is going to inflate in value, is unknown before the person jumps on the call. Your job on the call is to show the person the potential that this coin has, is to show them the potential that they have, and your coaching is the vehicle to get them there, okay? This coach coin. So the sales process starts out with the person booking a call, kind of unknowing as to the upside of this investment. The sales process should go as follows. You diagnose. You find out where this person is at. And before I go into this part, I need to put a caveat here that if you can't help somebody, you should not sell them. You shouldn't take their money. This applies if you can actually help this person. Because some people get all weird and all, wokey these days about sales and the sales process. And yes, sales can be slimy if you are selling to people that you can't actually help. If you can just take somebody's money because you know how to sell, you're a slimy salesperson, you shouldn't do that. This only applies to if you find out you can actually help this person and they do need your help. Because your job on the sales call is to shine lights on problems that this person has. Does that mean that you end up putting this person into a position of pain? Yeah, it does. Because you need to help this person take action. I'm sure if you're a coach watching this, it's probably happened where someone has not signed up with you and they've come back to you a year later, now in a way worse position than if they just started with you when they first talked to you. It's your fault as much as it is theirs for not helping them get over the line at the start. So you need to diagnose, find out where they're at, shine a light on the problems that they have so they actually understand, I do have this problem. What you're doing there is you're kind of increasing the value of this coach coin. You're increasing the value of this investment to them. Then you're finding out exactly where they want to be, right? Their future self, their desired goals, and you are establishing the gap between where they are now and where they need to be. Again, lengthening that gap or widening that gap increases the value of this coach coin, increases the value of this coaching that you offer, increases the value of it to them. When the prospect understands they have a problem, when they understand that you have a solution, and they understand that the solution gets them out of this pain, then you can sell to this person. Without those things, it's very hard to sell. Then you give the investments. And that's the really important part, because what you're doing there is you've established a gap from where they are and where they need to be. You've increased the value of this coaching because it shows them that it's going to get them where they want to be, and then you give the investment. The reason you do it that way is then the person will say, that makes sense as to why that is this price, given that I know what's going to get me out of this situation. That makes sense that it is that investment. You've shown the value, then you've given the investment. The idea in the sales process is the investment you give is less than the value you've just shown. Then it would make sense for the person to invest. Taking this coach coin idea, you've explained exactly why this coin will 100x over time, shown the progression of it, shown the path of it, shown why it's going to happen, all the reasons why this whole thing would fall into place, how safe of an investment it is. Now, if you flip that on its head and in your application forms, you say, can you invest X amount of money? Can you afford this amount per month to invest into your health and fitness? The person has not seen any value. They've seen no reason why this thing is going to increase in value. They've seen no reason. They've felt no pain. They don't understand that you can get them to where they want to go. They might not even really understand if they have a problem or how much of a problem that actually is to them. That's your job on the sales call. So if you then go and put this monetary figure in front of them and say, can you invest in this before they've even spoken to you? One, you're going to drive away people that probably would have invested if you just spoke to them and heard them out and figured out what situation they're in and showed them that you could help them. And two, when they now come onto a sales call, if they do go through that application form and say, yeah, I'm willing to invest this or this, probably the lower part all the time. Now they come onto the sales call with resistance because they say, I know this guy's going to charge X amount. He better prove to me that it's worth that. If he can't prove to me that it's worth that, I'm not going to invest. And the sales call is upside down because now you don't have an open and honest interaction. You don't have somebody explaining truly where they're at because they just feel like they're going to be sold. They have this monetary figure in their head, and now it's up to you to show that you're worth that. Whereas it should not be that way. You should be diagnosing this person. You should be finding out if you can help them or not. There should not be this massive amount of resistance coming in because they know this person probably charged this or this. If I don't see something that I believe is worth that, I'm not going to be investing. So you've just shown this real hard to believe inflation in this coach coin that you have no backing behind, but you're asking someone, can you invest in this coin? I'm just promising you, just take my word that it's going to be worth this in a couple of years. There's too much resistance there. So thinking that you're getting higher quality leads by putting this monetary term on your forms is actually really hurting your lead gen, your lead quality, funnily enough, because of the conversion rate that happens on the other end. And you think you're doing a good thing by using these, but you're not. It's actually hurting you. What you can do instead is ask people what they do for a living in your form. You can ask people, what is your occupation, so I can gauge your daily stress, so I can gauge your daily movement, so you are qualifying them. They don't feel like they're financially being qualified, but you can understand with a good and reasonable estimation if this person will be able to afford your services or not, without messing up your entire sales process. This is another huge, and the biggest reason as to why you can't give your prices away in DMs, because you're not showing any value. If you're not showing any value, you can't give your price because it doesn't make sense. So you have to handle that price objection or question. It's not really an objection at that point. You need to handle that in the DMs to get the person on the call, so then you can provide them with an understanding as to why you charge what you charge. The only time you can ever give your prices away in DMs is if you're super low ticket, and I don't recommend any coach being super low ticket. Context and perspective is what this is all about. If I said to you, I am selling my car for 20 grand and you wanted to invest 5K into a car, if that's all the context I gave you, you'd say, it's out of my budget. If I told you it's actually a brand new Lamborghini, it's a brand new Ferrari, it's worth 200 grand, and I'm selling it to you for 20, you'd probably find that investment somehow because of the upside, because you now have the context and perspective as to what the value actually is. So if you have those questions in your application forms, get them out, replace it with something like occupation so you can gauge daily stress or daily movement. Stop putting monetary terms in any application form, please. It is not helping. It's reducing the amount of leads because you're putting friction in the way that is unnecessary. And it's reducing your close rate because the sales process is completely upside down when that person comes on the sales call. So I hope that helps. I know my eyes were extremely squinty during this whole thing because it's sunny over here. But if you found that useful, hit subscribe. I'm trying to grow the channel. Hope this was useful. If you're looking for help in growing your coaching business and you're looking for systems to actually get higher quality leads, more volume of leads, higher percentages of sales, increasing your prices or keeping your clients for longer, click the link below, book a call with me and my team, and we can run you through how we do this with all of our current coaches, all of our past coaches, and how we can guarantee results on top of that. Take care.